Hello and welcome to our show, Film Talk with AJ Dean. I'm AJ Dean, your host, and I have the ever-present and always beautiful best co-host in the world right here. Look, there he is, Paul Vato. Paul, it's you.
Ah,
How are you,
yeah.
Paul?
Oh, you scared me for a while. I thought I'd been replaced. You were saying such nice things. I was like, oh my goodness, must have gone out and replaced me as a co-host. Wow. Thank you, AJ. Such kind words. It's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm so honored that you are my co-host and you are here every time, Paul. Your presence makes this so much even more better. And I know your fans love seeing you as well. And you look very dapper today, I might add.
Thank you. I'm
And I want
rocking a new shirt.
you're rocking a new shirt. I love it. And I've got my new top here, with my new pinstripe top. I hope you love it as well. Okay, let's get into our show. We've got a very special VIP guest. We met on Clubhouse, and I want to get talking to him. He's got a lot of great fun film projects. His name is Daniel Lynch. He is an actor and an independent filmmaker from Atlanta, Georgia. Let's give him a very warm welcome. Hey, Daniel, so happy you're here with us. How are you?
First off, thank you so much for connecting with me on Clubhouse, AJ, and thank you for inviting me on your show, Paul and AJ. This has been a huge, honor. I love talking about all things film, so this was a no-brainer just to come on and just have fun with you guys. So thanks for having me.
We love it. This is what it's all about, connecting with different wonderful artists like yourself. And so let's jump right into it. I want to talk about the Atlanta, Georgia market
Sure.
and the pulse on it. What's going on there? What is it like? What's going on, Daniel?
No, I will say that Atlanta, I've made the best decision coming out here. There is so many opportunities, whether you're in the theater, there's a bunch of, theater workshops, theater plays going on out here. There's lots of film related stuff. You got music videos that will shoot whenever, however, it doesn't matter if you're on a rooftop or on the streets on a highway, they're going to find a way to make it work in a parking garage or something. And tons of like either independent films or studio led projects. Atlanta is really big on just filming locations and getting it done out here. So I really appreciate like the go energy, but it's also a detriment too because there's like whenever you're on the road, everyone thinks they own it for some reason. So that's like the one bad thing is that yeah, people will cut you off and they won't bat an eye about it. So yeah.
I've heard
I,
about, haven't you, Paul?
I think that's everywhere, man. I don't know. But maybe it's everywhere that people from other places go because I'm in Las Vegas. So
Sure.
not a lot of people are actually from here,
Right.
but we almost get that same thing because it's people coming from other places.
Wow.
Uh, and I mean, I don't know. I mean, the South, I think, has always been there's always such courtesy, like, no, no, sir, you first, no, you first. I
But
mean,
that's
of course,
sir.
there's other issues, but
Sure,
so maybe
sure.
it's people coming from the other places.
Might as well be because I'm from Chapel Hill, the RDU 919. That's you know further up, and yeah, that's where the Southern hospitality is. But down here, we have it at like venues. People know how to act when you're actually at the place, but when you're on the road, it's like, nah, we're savages.
They know how to act when they're at the venue, but before they get there, they don't know.
Nah,
They don't know.
exactly. That's right.
Where are you from originally?
North Carolina.
North Carolina. Okay, I see. Right
Yes,
on.
sir.
And yeah, everything AJ was saying. I mean, I feel like and the things that you mentioned, there being theater and plays and workshops. I grew up outside of Chicago, and Chicago's
Mm,
kind of known for that. Like, and obviously also known for like improv comedy, which is what I studied.
yeah.
And the nice thing about places like that is that if you eventually ever want to move to one of the coasts, you come prepared. Like you can get
Right.
prepared there. You can, if it's like Chicago, you can put up shows. You can fail
Sure.
there a little bit, because it's maybe a smaller market. So You know, it's not so when you do get out to one of the coasts, but maybe you don't even have to anymore because Atlanta is itself, it's its own
It is.
production. I mean, people are moving to Atlanta instead of LA or New York.
And
So it's
yeah, no,
amazing.
that's a beautiful thing. Because it used to be could either go to New York or LA, and to a certain extent, that's because I've actually been to New York for college. You know, I studied out there for 8 months, so I know what it's like to like they're pretty wild out there in terms of like work. It's just a whole this the wild kingdom out there. There's no steady. And the same thing with LA. I was out there for like a week on a church trip and or a mission trip rather, so to give food to the homeless and more tear down areas. And I had the chance to meet a producer of a BET show, Wild and Out, and he told me that LA is for the creatives, but Atlanta is where you go to for like production and all crew work. And I would say Atlanta has like the best of both worlds. You know, you have theater, you have film. There's no shortage of either. You know, but I guess everyone's just in because a lot of big productions like to come out here. Marvel, Black Panther was shot out here. You know.
Amazing. Amazing.
Wonderful. Now, doesn't Tyler Perry Studios, isn't that there, Daniel? And is that where you're getting most of your auditions or reaching out to? Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because he's incredible.
No, absolutely. Tyler Perry Studios rather is really hard to get into. I've tried for years to actually get a job there or even just interview there. But I will say that where I did shoot a project out there um for like my costume fitting that took place out there, and seeing the lot itself was pretty surreal. I'm not gonna lie, because you saw Will Smith, Angela Bassett, Spike Lee, Denzel, all these names attached to different studio building lots. That was pretty neat. I'm not gonna lie. So to actually just be present on the studio lot, you know, Tyler Perry, man, he is really giving out opportunities out here for a lot of people. But I feel like there's also he inspired a lot too because I've seen other people trying to do the same and make their own studios happen out here in Georgia too, different parts, Fayetteville, the countryside, trying to get their own startup because of him. So yeah, doors are opening for sure.
Okay, well, if anyone who knows Tyler Perry or any of his people watches this and sees this, Daniel, would you still be interested in working at the studio there?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, for sure. So
Fabulous. Okay, okay. Now, that's so exciting to me, just the idea of that. Well, let's manifest that, shall we, Paul?
I think so, AJ, 100%. I think between one of us that we should have some friends that might be able to help or make a connection. And that's it. You know, I think as actors and producers and everything, you know, and as maybe newer actors, I know Daniel, you're not new, but
right.
in the grand scheme of things, it's all about connections.
Yeah.
It's all about and it's sticking around and being around and showing up and doing the work. A lot of times it's just showing up and outlasting the competition, but that doesn't mean that you know that you can't do the work. You can definitely do the work because you've been trained, you've had
Right.
training, you have experience. You just
Mhm.
need that opportunity. You just need somebody to come and open the door type of a thing, and you'll walk in yourself and you'll impress them and you'll bring the work ethic and all that. So that's it, man.
Thank you for that. It's you're speaking the truth, brother. You're speaking the truth because I've always said right place, right time. There is work out here for everybody. Not every work is for everyone. What's out here for you is meant for you. I've been manifesting like my 2023 goal is to nab this Green Lantern role. I don't know if you guys know about DC at all, but they're in the midst of rebooting their universe, and I'm trying to nab that John Stewart role. So it's about putting it out there and like you said, doing the work, doing your paying your dues. But at the end of the day, you know, the other side gotta see that the light is here so I can show them. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Oh,
let's
I
make it
love
happen.
this. This is great. Wonderful. Thank you for that. Yes. And so let's talk a little bit about your background. You've taken some
Sure.
classes. You've taken wonderful acting classes. Where did you take them, and who did you enjoy being, receiving that education from?
It's tough because I've had a lot of great teachers over the years, but I'll say, between my professors at AMDA in New York, shout out to American Music Dramatic Academy, and my high school teacher, shout out to Mr. Gall. I feel like you know what, yeah, I'm going for Mr. Gall because she was my first really, and really, was like that anchor of like encouragement, as I really took it seriously. She was there. So I'm going for her. I actually over a headshot photo that I have yet to give her. So yeah, I need to do that. But for sure, I'm giving Mr. Gar her flowers today.
We also give her flowers, and it's the teachers in our life and the people, mentors, in my life that I love to give back to as well and help them out.
Mm,
It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. So let's
yeah.
get into this really amazing movie that you created. It's called The
Mm,
Legend of Dune Raw, and it's on screen right now on your second screen. This is you in full costume and makeup, body paint, facial paint. You've even got contacts you are wearing. So it's talking about it's got something to do with the Empire. Tell us about your character, who you play. How did this come about, this whole story, and where
sure.
can people see it, Daniel?
Oh, big one, big one. All right. Well, first I'll go with where they can see it. If anyone has Instagram or Facebook, I've attached links to both of my accounts, D Lynch 47 on Instagram and Daniel Lynch on Facebook. You'll see me. I look the same, so you won't miss me on either account. So the link to that movie there is in the my bio. That's where you can find that at. And your other question, how did this come about? So really, yes, so I told you I started it in 2020 where I started officially. Well, this was like the my first one where I said one day at work, because I had wrote a script around 2017, 2018, like it was a Star Wars script that I felt as a Star Wars fan, we were robbed for not seeing Luke's journey after Return of the Jedi. I feel like seeing, I had this idea to make a Harry Potter-ish type of series about Luke and his Jedi Academy. That was just so interesting to me because in the ODU books, he had lots of students, he had kids, and we just didn't see that. So I ended up doing it myself. I came up with these stories and just ended up, I had Ahsoka Tano in there, Star Killer, Rom Coda, Darth Maul, Mace Windu, all these characters as his Jedi teachers at the school. But and I said it about a couple years after Return of the Jedi. But over time, I came to realize like, I had the great ideas, but the money just wasn't there. So I scaled it back a bit and basically Darth Maul, so his point in the story was like, he's already died twice. So, and I was bringing it back a third time. So, kind of just scaled back on that. And I introduced I replaced him with a different type of character, still a Zabrak, but, I wanted that role to be there still. So, ended up coming up with this character, come up with this Zabrak, Dune Ra just came to me at work one day, like he was, because I have an imagination for this stuff. So he, this warrior who was a great fighter on his planet, and he was a well-respected tribe member who just left one day, and he ends up bumping into Luke. That's the short version of it. So that's where that came from. But again, the stories were there, but the money wasn't. So I just scaled it all back and focused on Dune's backstory more. And I wanted to explore that. So I figured out what made Dune Dune. And so instead of making it about Luke, I decided to shift the series to him. And from there, we were able to find a story that could be told in the budget that was doable. So instead of delving into fully into who Doom Ra was, I set the story instead of after Return of the Jedi, I put it a year after episode 3. So we're in the dark times right now, right? Where Dune he's left his planet, but he's on his own. And that's the time period that I wanted to get into. So I put that a year after episode 3, and I made it about essentially like that show, The Last of Us, where he meets up with this Jedi Padawan, and because she's running away from the Empire, and if you know your history, you would know that Darth Vader is not a fan of Jedi. So she escaped, she's on the run, and they're trying to track her down. And, yeah, that's where this is at. I'm realizing I'm giving away the story, so no
Okay, so
doubt.
so I'll just tell you really quick, and your audience and your fans, that this was shot in 4K with a 4K camera, which is wonderful. You synced your own music, and I did want to ask you, where did you film it, and how long did it take to film? And then we're going to go over to Paul, see if he wants to ask something.
Yeah, no, this was shot in North Carolina, my hometown, actually. It was like a few blocks down from my house out from my place out there. And yes, I found this open land that just happens to be ran by an old friend of mine from middle school. His mother owns the entire land out there. So that was a neat, that was nothing but God opening doors right there. And I was able to look, a buddy of mine, he's actually in the film as one of the bounty hunters. And he did the music as well. Shout out to Rashad King for that. And shout out to Keith Scott, who did the other bounty hunter. Uh, Rashad knew some places in Burlington, which was like this, he filmed some of his music out there. It's a great park environment. North Carolina has lots of good filming areas. So I, it was just beautiful. I took it all in and I used these locations for the film.
Wonderful. And you also did your own makeup. You've got the full body paint and all of that stuff, and the contact lenses, amazing. So really well done on that. That's why I put the picture up here. Uh,
Thank you. Yeah.
Paul, over to you.
Oh, thank you, AJ. Yeah, it's I think it just goes back to the spirit of the independent filmmaker and the creator being and doing our own projects. If
Yep.
they're not going to write stuff for us, then you've got to do it yourself.
Yes, sir.
So Daniel, kudos on that, and I'd love to see it. So I'll follow those links and check it out if we can be seen.
For sure.
Yeah, man. So congratulations, because it's not easy, And then if anything, you realize how it's not easy and what you need to do in order to get those done. So maybe if you're not always a producer, you have a little empathy for other people, because now it sounds like you're the one that's doing everything, finding the location, setting up the shoots, getting the equipment, being an actor, director. So it's always nice to step in other people's shoes and see what kind of see what their process is, because yeah, I mean, otherwise, sometimes as actors, I think we show up in the set, we're like, I'm the star here, I'm the actor, but it takes a whole team, it takes a whole village to get things done.
An entire village, brother. And I want to just talk on that a little bit, because when I started, I just had a whole lot of excitement. I had the know-how, the skills, that I took all the classes, and I was just ready to get to it. And when I was fortunate enough to actually have made connections with people that were, familiar with the industry, or already in the industry. And a mentor of mine, Jim McQuaid, big shout out to him. We met through a theater out in Raleigh, Sips and Scripts, where they would take different playwrights and read their scripts for the first of every month. The director of that knows Jim, and he's been doing short films for like 20 years. So he took me under his wing and basically showed me what you were talking about. Yeah, no, it go how a script is made, how he invested his time, and we to this day, he's helped me on like all of my projects. And after, you know, yeah, it's not easy at all. It will actually, I feel like going through that will make or break you. And pretty much, I feel like this speaks a lot to if you how bad you really want it. If you're gonna go out and do it, go get it. So
Wonderful. Yeah. Yes. 100%.
I'm so proud of you. Thank you for that, Paul. That was wonderful. I'm so proud of you, Daniel, for doing this. During the pandemic and COVID was the perfect time. And how long did it take the total, pre script and filming and then post-production? How long
sure.
did it take you?
Well, it felt like pre-production. I was in pre-production forever because, like I said, I wrote the script in 2017. So, but it was on and off, been through a whole lot of revisions. But when I finally got the story right was in 2020, where the world had shut down, and I had all the time in the world to really figure out what it was going to be. So when I decided to focus it on Dune, that was pretty much it. I churned out the script and its finalized version in one evening. After those other revisions, I decided this is what the story is. Boom, boom, made that happen. Had the script in hand. I was happy with it. And then when we got down to actually shooting, because it took a bunch of meetings, like lots of meetings at Starbucks, lots of going to my AD's house and just really dialing down. So that's why I say pre-production was forever. It felt like that. So, but when we actually got down to filming, it was in the height of the pandemic around September, November-ish of 2020. And we were out there for 2 whole days and one extra day of reshoots to get a shot in there that we didn't have while we were shooting. But yeah, 2 days was all it took. 6 hours of makeup, mind you, but the first day, and 4 hours the next day because we figured out what we were doing. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
how that. Oh.
That's phenomenal. And look at the makeup on screen here. So if you wanted to give a shout out, I think there's like 3 or 4 people maybe that helped you with the makeup. Did you
Yes.
want to mention them? Because I always love doing that. I always love giving credit. Go ahead, Daniel.
Big shout out to Nikki Keith, Phoenix Ash, and Andy Phillips. Those three were my light and the shining armor in this process. Could not have done without them. They held me down literally as I was getting makeup on. And fortunately, I'm someone that loved I was that kid that just was fascinated by makeup, you know, especially the Zabrak Darth Maul was my favorite character. So having that, going through the process was nothing but getting it, going through it. We had a bunch of stuff, ordered a bunch of stuff from Amazon, cold fans, spray, things like that. So yeah, had to shave the beard off for it. So gave up a lot, but in the end, it was worth it, I think.
That's amazing. And it looks like did they use latex on you? And then
Oh
was
yeah,
it like foam? And I mean, there's a lot of that goes into
that's
it,
the
right?
horns was used for on top of a ball cap, So I had to really get it in. Yeah, a lot of the latex, but for the most part, like if you'll see those horns, they're pretty much taped on the ball cap there. Um, you can see the sides there from where they made the paint happen. And yeah, that it took a lot. It took a lot of determination to see this through, and we all powered through it. We started at like our call time was as early as 3 in the morning for this because we had an early shoot time because we wanted to get it done so we to get the weather and time because that's another thing you gotta look out for too, getting the weather straight and figuring out. And that's on our first day we bumped into a situation that became our salvation. You know, the weather had changed on us, so that's really why it turned into 2 days. We were trying to knock it out that one day, but when we worked around it, we actually worked the weather into the film. So that disruption actually helped us out a great deal. So yeah, you
Isn't
just
that
gotta
cool?
know how to adapt. Yep.
Isn't that cool when things work out? It's like the universe was supporting you, Daniel, and your crew and team as you were filming it. And I love that. Um,
Thank you.
I also wanted to talk about a few other things that you have created and produced and filmed. You have The Offer, which is a Western,
Mm,
and you also have, you know, The Offer of a Lifetime, and you also have The Wild Ones, which I've seen both, and I'd love for everyone to watch them as well. And you, Paul, um, so The Offer and The Wild Ones, it seems like it's a sequel. I loved the acting in this.
mm.
Is it a to be continued TV series?
It is. So essentially, the Wild Ones is a proof of concept of what the entire series is, and the offer is actually an episode in the series that we shot, but we did it out of order. So the offer, we actually did it back to back to back, but not in any planned way. It just happened that way. So Legend of Doom was shot in 2020, Offer was in 2021, and The Wild Ones was literally last year, 2022. So um all in the summer, and it just planned out that way, you know.
Sure.
Uh in developing Dune, I came up with this idea after seeing a documentary on YouTube about Black Bull Riders. So that's where that came from. And I was already watching shows like Power and The Shy, about making positive black imagery out there. And I'm like, we don't really have a lot of that. So I decided to make this series about this bull rider who just happens to be a descendant of one of the greatest black bull riders and who just wants to make his own name. So that's how that came to be.
Now I love this, and I wanted to ask, in real life, do you ride bulls?
I do now. After this experience, yeah, for sure. Yeah, they were calling me the Black Tom Cruise up there because we actually ended up riding legit bulls for the shoot, and they invited me to some rodeos. And when I say they, I mean we actually went out to a legit rodeo to film the scenes where Dante gets on the bull, and yeah, they lived and breathe the rodeo life. And I've been out to their rodeo shows and they had me up there and it was great. So yeah,
That's
yes, ma'am.
incredible. So, Paul, have you ever ridden a bull?
Not on purpose. But
Not even a
it,
mechanical bull, Paul?
uh, I don't think I'd even be able to climb on. But my friends at their place called Nerd Bar here in Las
Uh-huh.
Vegas, it's like a mechanical bull, but it's built like a piece of male anatomy that
Mm,
you can jump on and ride.
right.
But I don't think I could even climb on. But I'm so fascinated by the bull riders because here in Vegas, every
Mm,
year in the month of December we have the rodeo, and
right.
that is all aspects. But then there's also the PBR comes by here, which is a pro bull riders, and I think
Mm.
bull riders, man, that is a special breed of person. Uh, you
Yeah.
know, I think it's also 8 seconds, just like on Bronx. But
Yep.
I mean, the bull riders, they say it's like being in a car accident. Every time you go on a bull, it's like getting into a car accident. That's how much abuse your body is taking. So I've also watched some documentaries on like the Argentines. I think the Argentines have this big bull riding communities, Brazilians as well. But
Right.
also, I love it. I love it. I hope this doesn't sound weird. I love a black cowboy. And
Ah!
people don't realize is that black cowboys that happen to be black, were some of the first cowboys. The cowboy comes from vaquero, which is the Spanish word for somebody that works with cows, a vaquero.
Right. Right.
So
Oh, wow.
people don't realize that the original cowboys were either Mexicans or and black folks. and then that's where this whole cowboy culture came from, because you were out there wrangling cows, and then it went into the riding of the horses and the breaking horses, the bronc riding, and
Right.
hey, I think it'd be fun to jump on this bull and see if we can stay on it. I mean, it's an incredible. I'd love to see that project, because that is right up my alley. I can't wait for the rodeo when it's here in Vegas, because I've got my cowboy hat, I have my boots, I got everything, man. I'm ready. I would love to be able to do that, but now I'm too old. But how exciting is that bull riding, man?
Let me tell you right now, it is never too late, Paul. Never too late. The bull don't care how old you are. You will, what I'm saying, rock your socks off as long as you get up there. But
Well, then you're going to either have to get me a very, very old bull, just like me, or maybe even a little baby bull. I think one of those two I could ride, but something
for
in
sure.
between,
Oh
no
yeah.
way, no
Well,
way. 1 second and I'm off.
well, that's how it starts. It's like a bicycle. They're going to ease you into it with the baby bull, and then as you get better and better, you find your stride on whichever bull you can hold on to. Because people, these guys, they don't just do it for like the money, because you do win money off it too, but they genuinely love the thrill of being on the bull. Like Dominic Toretto, he loves the thrill of racing, right? For 10 seconds or less.
That's amazing. Wait, so I'm sorry. So is this a project that's already done, or you've shot an episode, or?
Yeah, they're done. So I shot a proof of concept last year after filming an actual episode that is in the show. Right now I have 5 scripts written out, and I envision it as essentially it's like gonna be one season like Watchmen, but it can either end after the season or it can continue on into multiple spinoffs after this one season. But one season is for this particular story is what I have envisioned for it, 10 episodes out the gate. And I've already came up with resources to film this one of the episodes. And then I actually had money, resources to actually make it into a legit production on the proof of concept. And now I'm just in that phase of trying to sell it to a studio. I'm actually writing like 5 scripts, 5 movie scripts and 2 TV shows, and that is one of them. And I'm just trying to get either one of these projects out there to be sold. So yeah, uh, manifesting that as well. Trying to That's another goal, getting one of those sold off and getting on the acting side. That breakout role this year. It's all happening. 2023. Yes, it is happening. Mm-hmm.
It's going to
Absolutely.
happen.
It's going to happen, right, Paul? And we're going to
Yes.
think good thoughts for that to come to you, Daniel. You're such a nice guy, a
Thank
super
you.
nice guy. And
Appreciate
I'm so sorry. We're going to have to start wrapping up the show. It goes so fast, but we're going to do heart
it. Quick.
messages. But before we do that, I wanted to ask Paul if he had any other questions for Daniel.
No, I would love to work with Daniel one day. I hope we get to work together, whether it's in front of the camera, especially because I love acting and especially comedy, but also on the production side. So I'd love to take a look at some of your work and see if we can see if I know anyone that might be interested in it, because I know a few people that will take a look at things. So if you don't mind, yeah, I'd love to you to share your work with me, and
Totally.
let's see if we can get a project sold. And I would love to go to Atlanta. I've been in the cigar industry now for, since the 1900s, as I like to say, but with my own brand for over 10 years.
What?
And I've met so many great people from Atlanta, and I know there's a big cigar scene in Atlanta. So I've been wanting to get there. And of course, I'd love to go there and work. So maybe I'll see you there. And
For sure. No,
yeah,
Paul, that is so you're out in Vegas. I've been out there one time, and it was fantastic. I actually have a friend out there who does like this sports announcement. He does like the production for that. I'm thinking about doing a project with him out there. So yeah, we should like really connect and make that connection happen. Because if I'm gonna be in Vegas soon, you're gonna be in Atlanta. Let's do it. You too, AJ. for sure.
Wonderful, wonderful. If you need a place to stay, just let me know. I'm here in Vegas, so you've got a home here.
Oh,
Of
yes.
that, yes.
I love this. I love this so much. And if anyone wants to buy your scripts or your screenplays, Daniel, how can they get a hold of you? How can they, get in contact with you to do that?
Yes. Email dlynch667@gmail.com. That's uppercase, lowercase, doesn't really matter. Email is the best place of communication for sure. I'll say it again. That's dlynch667@gmail.com, but also other avenues too. Instagram is dlynch47, and Facebook is Dan Lynch, DANLYNCH.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for that. And any casting directors out there, Daniel he's got a great look, doesn't he, Paul? So get in contact with Daniel for your next Marvel or hey, Tyler Perry Studios as well.
Yes, yes.
Right, Paul?
I mean, if they were to, and I don't know if they have, I feel like maybe they've already remade the Love Boat. But if you're looking, I hope you take this as a compliment, because I loved. Was it Ted Lang? Was that his name? The bartender of the old. It's probably before your time. I'm dating myself here. But back in my day, there used to be a show called The Love Boat.
Okay.
And there was the bartender Ted Lang, and I don't know. I feel like you've got the spirit, like you could play with the voice and the look,
Right.
and the
Wow.
coolness.
That's funny. So I get this a lot. I get Taye Diggs and I get Gerard
Sure.
Carmichael. Sometimes I get JJ from Good Times. So those three. Especially, yeah, like I was in Black Panther, and I'm voicing a Transformer, so it's happening. Just got to get that one, Yeah, got to get that. Yeah.
You're my friend. You are an overnight success. It just took you, 10, 12 years. So
Yes, it's work. I put in the work. I put
yeah.
in the time to actually, because a lot of people say, "Hey, I want to be an actor," but don't actually know the stuff that goes behind it. So that's just another thing. If you really love this, then go make it happen for yourself. I really think the independent scene is the way to go for if you really want to do it. Just create your own content. That's because you meet a lot of people that way. So
Yes, it's so true. And I encourage everybody to check out The Legend of Dune Ra. And you might even see a little bit of, a surprise guest in there. So check it out. I'm not going to say any more because I want the teaser to be just that and have everyone enjoy it. And we're going to go ahead and do our heart messages. Now I'm going to do mine. First of all, I want to thank you, Daniel, for being an outstanding guest, and you're just amazing. So I'm going to give you a heart as well.
thank you.
And Paul, thank you, Paul. And then
Thank you.
this is my heart message for this week, and we're going to go around to Paul and you, Daniel. And what is a heart message? It's a motto or something you want to share with the world. So here's mine. Don't let yourself be controlled by three things: people, money, or past experiences. Every day is a new start and a brand new day. Okay, that's mine. Over to you, Paul, for your heart message for this week.
Get up and do it. I think Daniel has proven that you can, create your own work, do your own work. You can, and then still take other projects, and then you can be selective what projects you take, projects that speak to your heart, and projects that make the world a better place. But more importantly, you can contribute, and you can make those projects, and you can make them happen from the resources that you have. I mean, my goodness, everything you need to create is in your pocket. It's right on your phone. So it's no excuse to not create and put your voice out into the world. So that's all 2023, man. Collaboration and get your projects out there. Use your iPhone, use your Android phone, and get it done. Edit it. You can do it all on your phone. So there's no excuses. And if anyone that wants to follow me, I'm at paulvato.com. And my podcast is Paul Vato Presents. And also as well here, make sure you follow Film Talk with AJ Dean and give us a like, give us a follow, because that really helps out. So thank you.
Yes, yes, wonderfully said. I guess my message would be don't just, if you have a goal or a dream, really act on it. Um, Paul pretty much took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah, I think you can pretty much do whatever it is you set your mind to, as long as you take the time to know what it is you want to do. You're golden, because you're going to succeed if you really take that time, you know. So that's my word. Just follow your dreams, and they'll happen for you. And also follow these two for sure. Follow AJ, subscribe, like, comment, share, all that good stuff for Paul and AJ. Love them to death with all my heart. So, yep, send all the love. Love.
Oh, thank you, Daniel. And follow and support Daniel Lynch. He's a great guy. He's got a wonderful look and can play many different character roles and lead roles. So we're gonna manifest and think a lot of great things are gonna come your way. So many beautiful blessings to you, Daniel. And Paul, thanks so much for your help. And until we meet again, until next time, much love and au revoir.